arm or something like that. We are going to have a look right now as we run through the picks once again. These ones all completely known to us, ladies and gentlemen, as Voidless is going to grab the Rek'Sai. I believe Bamey then picks up the Echo for Amazing J. But look, more movement speed, more ability to get around the map, lots of sort of, I guess, base damages on the Karma, doesn't rely on items necessarily as much, can add utility to the team.
Yeah, I don't know whether I'd necessarily go to Karma mid lane. I think that I would try and pick something that, like for example, I don't know if Bamey plays it, but I'll pick Twisted Fate in this composition.
Okay.
Because you just have double globals, you have a great 1-3-1 split push with Echo and Twisted Fate. You're guaranteeing that Sivir is your only physical damage, so it's very hard for Myron to itemize against it.
I like it.
And you just open up the map as much as possible. Zillion's another good option for a very similar reason. Very quick, great control around the team fight.
And I can see why they made the Soraka mistake. You know, Zillion, Soraka, very similar champions.
Chinese client, like, they're in weird orders.
That is a very good point. That is a very good point.
Of course, that doesn't really give Jin Jiao an excuse as to why he picked it, but it is a very strange order going through.
Yeah, and it's an interesting pickup here as well, as Thresh was the last lock-in. We saw Twitch Thresh actually being a very impactful lane. I believe Imp and Mata played that one a lot.
Certainly did.
In a certain World Championship game.
The reason that Thresh is just so good with Twitch is that he can go aggressive with Twitch, but also when Twitch wants to go on these solo missions, you can land him back out to safety because he is very low mobility. He's not immobile. He's very low mobility when he goes into these positions. So it's just something that, you know, if you are a good Thresh player, you are able to get Twitch out of a lot of sticky situations.
Well, we'll see whether Imp is going to be his normal aggressive self on the Twitch. Of course, playing against more of a minion wave than anything else, as Jin Jiao will probably be pushing things out. But with Bard in the lane, possibly a little bit of extra lane pressure. And do you think that the Thresh often picked up as well for the fact that you can sort of stand toe-to-toe with Bard, especially like levels 2 through 4, something like that?
Yeah, no, Thresh actually, like level 1 Bard is better, but Thresh after that actually starts scaling up in the lane as well. Make no mistake, still a dominant laner down there from the support position. So if you plays it well, he'll be able to go toe-to-toe with Road.
Well, we'll see exactly what happens, ladies and gentlemen, as you hop into game number 2. And here we are, game 2 underway. LGD trying to find their way back into this best of 3 series. IMA with a buffer game up their sleeve. And LGD with a completely different plan this time around. We'll see whether they can execute on it.
Yeah, no longer win game, Atlas. Just get to 30 minutes and light up a team fight is what LGD is looking for. And we'll see whether they're able to execute on it, because they certainly couldn't execute on the winning lane part.
No, that didn't quite work out. You can see LGD actually setting up for a possible death sentence here around the side. But just going to be able to throw down a ward and escape. Imp is going to feel very comfortable. Of course, Mata did get himself that skin whilst playing with Imp, so Imp now, the spirit of Mata, there in the lane.
Is that how it works?
I don't know. I was trying to come up with something. I don't know whether I trust it.
As it looks like maybe a lane swap going to be initiated here, although I may going back towards the bottom lane, so definitely not. All right, so I spoke about it a little bit yesterday, but as Bard, it's honestly considered a failed level 1 if you don't challenge for the first camp on the other side of the map. You really want to get out there and try and stop them from doing the Gromp, because Bard is incredibly strong level 1. And if you can keep people level 1 for as long as possible, then Bard can do work in the laning phase. This time around, however, Road just happy to take the camp away. Of course, he still does the camp incredibly quickly. I mean, he gets a double stun across both of them. But it's just one of those things that you should be able to mess with people level 1 if you are Bard.
See whether he can as they get to the lane. Of course, level 2 will be hit very quickly, so he'll have a little bit of time.
Only by Jin Jiao and Imp, remember, because no Shad experience. So they get it after 1 creep, whereas the supports still need the full wave.
Well, Voidless farming very, very quickly through the top side, actually leaving his blue buff. So
he'll give that over to a Bamey on the second rotation through.
Ah, okay.
So as a Rek'Sai, you don't really need it. Doesn't give you any more experience or anything like that. As Punish doing a much better job this time around.
Yeah, that's really nice.
Took a lot of creep damage on the way back, however.
Death Ray almost tags Bamey, and that could have been extraordinarily dangerous. Punished, of course, feeling a little bit more comfortable this time around, has got the double teleport to answer Ime's. Of course, that late game even more empowered here. That added flexibility that the Victor will have. Did actually sacrifice a bunch of creeps there. There's the Flash Flay, but Jin Jiao, brilliant use of that spell shield. In goes Amy at the same time as Road. Flashes out of the way after that cosmic binding that saved everyone.
Yeah, it certainly did. So able to get in there. Now a Voidless wants a gank in the mid lane. Punished in trouble.
Yeah, looking for it. Nice avoiding the knock up there from a Voidless, which is awkward. As Tremorsense has spotted out Amy. Road's coming around, though. They will have a potential stun here as the Cosmic Binding is not going to find it. Yeah, Teleport is actually going to be concluded there from Mara, and a Voidless trying to get out of the way. Nice. Death Ray comes in. Flash. Twisted Advance comes down, but the tunnel is there. What the heck was that interaction? Oh.
So for some reason, Myron stopped at the start of the tunnel, but the continuation came through.
He was snared as he was tunneling.
But normally if you're a Maokai, you follow to the end.
Yeah, exactly.
Myron didn't. He stopped at the beginning, so that was interesting.
Very odd. It's the first time I've actually seen what the particle effect of a Twisted Advance is. Because we saw him traveling through a non-existent tunnel with the particle effect of a Twisted Advance on him. Very cute. Strange interaction, though. Saved a Voidless's life.
Certainly did cost Myron double summoner spells as well as a level advantage, however, so he's not going to be very happy about that.
Like you can see, Bamey did have to teleport back into the lane.
Even without a tier, so that's not a great first back for the Zilean. Wants to be able to get that shop in. Tier or Catalyst, depends what you want to go. I go tier on the current patch. I think tier's cool, but of course, generally speaking, you used to go Catalyst on the Zilean.
Yeah, New Rod of Ages, of course, is pretty cool at the same time.
Yeah, it's nice and cheap.
Do you think that it's, as far as Zilean is concerned, sort of the trading health and mana situation of the rower, do you think that actually helps out, or do you think maybe the older version would have been better anyway?
No, I think the new version's kind of cool for everyone. I think that it just promotes a healthy laning phase. As now Road caught out a little bit.
Yeah, not going to find the Cosmic Binding, but we'll be able to go on a magical journey if he wants to get out of this Dragon Pit.
Actually calls over Bamey, so they're not going anywhere.
Bomb is going to be picked up. Takes a fair chunk of damage. Oh, there's another Cosmic Binding. Going to land onto you. Just let them know that he's there. Pink Ward is going to be cleared out of the way. You can see 80 carries now just facing off against one another. Very even as far as that CS is concerned. Itemization as well as Amy grabs himself the mark.
And this is a couple of games in a row that Imp has done it. I was wondering if he just did it because he was up in the last game, but he goes for the refillable potion.
Yeah.
So, of course, frequent shops coming in does make it worthwhile after about the third one, but not as effective on the actual potions itself. Oh, that creep that's annoying.
That was very cute. He enlisted a creep. Another bomb going to be picked up. So Bamey getting his eye in at the moment. Of course, that early trade from Punish was very, very strong, but Bamey keeping up in this lane for now. And Amazing J continuing to actually play quite well in the 1v1 phase of the laning.
Well, remember, he's also up against a Myron that teleported away at level 3 and burnt Flash. So,
good point.
Only a 9 CS advantage is actually probably forgivable for Myron right now because he lost out underneath the turret for a lot of that trade. As wow, Punish actually has to burn the ultimate there.
Bamey did actually take a fair bit of damage from it, so probably an okay idea, but Corrupting Potion is there. He's running very, very quickly at the same time with that speed up, so Bamey going to push Punished out of lane.
Amy's going to have to rotate in, and one more time, the mid laner for Ime is just getting the better of his counterpart on LGD.
That being said, I mean, still very, very good farm here out of Punished, as Amazing J not trading all that well with Myron. That was actually very, very nicely done by the Maokai. As Road and Ginger with a fair bit of control of this lane at this stage. But you can see everything's very, very slow. And LGD probably very happy with it.
Yeah, exactly right. So as long as kills aren't going down, even though they would have loved that first blood, good news story for LGD right now.
We've got Amy actually playing around in the enemy jungle here as well. No first bloods to go down just yet. Look at where Amy is going to be as well. He's the one that we wanted to step up. We'll see whether he's going to.
They're collapsing on him one more time. Actually forced him off a mark there. So that's really nicely done. Good communication out of IMA. Time and time again, their solo laners are backing up their jungler, whereas it doesn't necessarily look the same here.
Sort of never has been historically out of LGD either. Very much been the other way around, as there's the speed up. Bomb goes down, sort of in no man's land, but nice. Second bomb. Punish not going to be able to take too many of these. Avoidless has found Amy, but red buff fell down earlier on. Lamb's Respite now available for the Kindred.
That's dangerous out of Avoidless, actually, invading that deep into a Kindred's jungle. Kindred chases you out of jungle quite well. As
nice hat, Amy.
This is a pretty funny lane, actually, to watch.
Certainly has been so far. But punished.
Another refillable potion, so double refillable potions on the LGD lineup. You can see they just want bang for their buck right now.
Yeah.
Taking out that loan, you know.
I find it interesting that Marin didn't get it. You know, top lane, often you see a lot of corrupting potions. Maybe not from a Maokai, but come on, man. It seems trendy within the LGD camp.
Apparently.
We'll jump in there. It's only you that really needs to get one. Changing it up, most definitely. Sightstone, however, is now done from Road. We'll see whether he's going to be moving around the map. Of course, last time we saw him on the Bard, he was everywhere. At this point, actually staying with his AD carry for a little bit longer.
Makes sense in the lane matchup, right? You don't ever want to give Imp a chance to dominate. And Bard, even though he's a great roamer, is also a really good 2v2 laner. So I like how Jinjiao and Road have played this 2v2 so far. So Voidless, waiting in the wings.
Yeah, standing out of vision range, of course, of that ward in the Tri-Brush that they knew was there. Not going to be able to find any ganks, though, as he heads back to base. Void Rush, and head back towards his wolf camp. Actually heading into the enemy jungle by the looks of things.
Yeah, one more time. Wants to get in there and kind of try and mess with Amy. Amy spotted him out, however.
Did steal one of the little popcorn chickens, though. As a Voidless, he's only level 6 here. Gets the extra movement speed from his Zillion. He's going to head out of the way. I believe he'll be able to get some experience from him as well, if Amy wanted to give it over. Cute little interactions. As he might actually also be able to deliver it to Road, which would have been cute. That's how he managed to get to level 6. Assuming he was spending time out of lane. Do like that mechanic from Zillion.
But it's turned into a farm fest, and you have to say that this would probably suit LGD in the current stage of the game. They have pretty good dragon control as well, as Imp gets stunned up.
But there's the handy thing about having a Thresh, despite the fact that Imp did almost die from all of that poke damage that was the follow-up. So Amy is going to be able to take down this Rift Scuttler. Ocean Drake is Drake number 1. As there's another Chaos Storm stun, not going to be found there, as Amy speeds himself up out of the storm. Doesn't quite have the catalyst just yet, but thankfully the corrupting potion going to be helping him out.
But you can see that's just as soon as the slow goes down onto him, has to be able to back away from the trade, and bottom lane turret actually going to fall down nearly.
Big capitalization on all of that damage that they managed to get onto Imp. And level 8 for the Sivir as well, who's really starting to scale up. Avoidless looking for Punished. Oh my goodness, he really didn't want to get stunned.
Well, Punish just knows what happens when he falls behind in this Victor lane. Doesn't want it to come through this time around. So we'll choose to go back, actually.
Amy is going to continue to farm up even underneath that turret. Still with the lead, though, Punished. These bombs are getting better and better at clearing out minion waves. See when Bamey can actually finish off that Rod of Ages, probably in the next couple of minutes. Should be able to get there. As Amazing J continues. Stay ahead in the farm. Actually slowly gaining that lead. 27 CS here.
This is what we expect out of Echo. As I said, for a long time, Echo was kind of unrivaled in the trio of the Poppy, the Maokai, and the Echo. Echo won both lane matchups. Doesn't really do as much for initiation. Has great follow-up CC as the lanes, as the team fights progress, but his initiation is slightly weaker than a Maokai as well as a Poppy, so we'll see if that is something that comes back to bite them, because they don't really have great hard initiation outside of Bard. And a Voidless now trying to sneak away the Ocean Drake.
Yeah, very cheeky. Actually noticing the fact that the mark is on the top side of the rift too. I actually really like it, considering the fact that Amy probably is going to be going for it. Amazing Jane notices that he definitely is. And a Voidless will be easily able to grab it. Of course, the bottom lane outer turret fell down as well. Lots of map control available for Aimee. And Dragon control has definitely been a thing that this team has been very good at.
Yeah, it certainly has been. Meanwhile, Amy kind of runs into the jungle and looks to see if he can get anything done. Not really all that much happening, so good heads-up play out of a Voidless to be able to pick up Dragon. And as we mentioned, the reason that Rek'Sai is coming back is because she can farm as well as these carry junglers, and Amy isn't even up, like maybe a camp now, but given the fact that Dragon has gone down, good news story.
Well, this could be the gank here as well, as even Rhodes here, able to get the stun. That was all Bamey. And that is going to be first blood going down for Jin Zhao.
Yeah, fantastic rotation. They understand that they've taken away mid lane turret. They know exactly where the Kindred is. She's in the jungle. So they make the play onto the middle of the map and they open it up for first blood. 1,500 gold lead. I mean, it took them a little bit longer this time, Aimee, but they make the play.
Yeah, they do. And Bamey as well now has his Rod of Ages completed. About 13 minutes in. Still hanging around here in the mid lane as well. But is it going to be enough? Of course, the insurance policy well and truly there for LGD. And punished, even though he's died once. Of course, that was a 4-man gank in the mid lane. He's still managed to keep up that farm, not getting zoned away from every minion wave. That could be good.
So they're in a better position than the last game, sure, but they still are falling behind in this early game. And really, they've started to lose control over the bottom side of the map. They've burnt multiple flashes onto Punish. They take away the Dragon. They even half-health the turret in mid lane after taking the bottom lane turret also. So very nicely done. And now they're going to start up this blue buff. Teleport is available, but looks like they want nothing to do with it. That's just going to go over to Bamey.
Yep, there it is. Bomb is going to secure it there. So Bamey moves back, takes Punish's blue buff. He'll be on his merry way. I believe Amy wasn't able to steal the blue, just got the rest of the camps around that blue side. Wow, it's a lot of damage as Bamey grabs himself. A stun, a Voidless over the top there as well with the tunnel. You can see, doesn't quite find the bomb apart from the one onto Amy's head, but no stun to come in here as Kindred takes a lot of health in damage. And this sort of poke, oppressive game out of Zilean is looking really difficult for LGD to deal with. As a Voidless may have actually caught out Marin here. He is going to get slowed down with the Chili Smite. Amy's found his way in, but teleport's coming down from Bamey. Wants to be able to keep someone alive if he can, but successful escape from Marin. That is a big deal.
Yeah, it certainly is, especially because they have a couple of members top side of the map. See whether they can pressure in onto this Sivir. Doesn't look like it right now. Should just be able to clean up the wave. So a little bit of a missed opportunity here out of LGD because they are investing a lot right now to try and control the bottom side. There really is no response.
You can see Punished actually. Nice death ray. Getting a lot of damage. And goes Imp. Jin Zhao not going to be going too far ahead as now Road is going to make his way back up. Help out the Sivir. Maybe even just set up some Coco in a line and leave her be again.
Yep, so this is interesting. Imp's actually going for a Bork build. We generally, at the moment, see Youmu's into
Not in the LPL.
the Hurricane.
There's been two of our Twitch players so far. Pentacue, I
This
believe.
split, but you can't say in the LPL because Def was the one that made the build.
Well,
and
yeah,
then,
no, that's a good point. But
Whoosh
recently,
was the one that played it at the whole of MSI.
I'm just saying, I'm really happy that you brought it up because I don't know why it's been sort of changed over.
I think it would be if you need the sustain in the laning phase, you'd go with a Bork. I really can't think of another reason to go Blade of the Ruined King over Youmu's right now because Youmu's is just such a cost-efficient item build and gives you everything you want for Twitch, especially the opening up power. So, yeah, it is one of those differences, but Imp's sticking true to his old school build.
Yeah, like it. It was what he used to use to sort of submarine the mid lane with the extra burst damage that you
But
get from the
Youmu's gives that as well because you used to actually go both.
Yeah, good point.
You used to go Bork into Youmu's into IE because Youmu's was your crit item in the build.
Oh, Amazing Jay actually getting very aggressive on
Wants
Marin
it.
here. Yeah, might be able to get the passive here in the Z-Drive Resonance as he's tanking up the turret. Marin, okay, ultimate not going to be used, and he just bashes him.
Yeah, so another amazing J play right there. Used to see it on the Olaf in the past, where he would just run underneath your turret and die to you. But this time, trying it out on the Echo, and it seems to fit.
Yeah, successful. Lee died underneath the turret as the Echo. So I think he was waiting to use the ultimate, just unfortunately.
I think it just came back off cooldown.
Really?
As
he was underneath that turret?
Yeah, without the ultimate.
Just amazing J things, everyone.
And it actually looks like they give them a reprieve cross map, because all of a sudden they do get to force Sivir off. 2 auto attackers up here. Going to be able to get at least half health of this.
A nice boomerang is going to do a fair bit of damage. Looks like not quite enough.
Potential Bard ultimate out of Road. Doesn't want it.
Just going to clear out this minion wave, so not pushing their luck too much.
Double TP was available there, so it's good acknowledgement of the fact that, you know, Zilean can't really head up into that lane unless he leaves nice and early. Punish can stick around mid lane and just continue to clear out. He's done a much better job this game farming up. Of course, Zilean, much less kill threat than a LeBlanc in that regard, so you can understand why he's had an easier time about it. But LGD, as you would say, Atlas, are scaling right now.
We be scaling.
Probably happy with how the game has slowed down.
Jinjo actually relegated once again to sitting underneath this turret. Lots of respect given to Imp. It's amazing J. Tail between his legs at the moment, but still back in the lane, still ahead by 30 or so creeps. With a Spirit Visage now completed at the same time. But this is the big deal. The fact that Amy is on the Kindred. Of course, doesn't necessarily need to be getting kills. Of course, Elise known to be ganking lanes, which is why the 0-0 was a little bit odd at 20 minutes last game. This game, however, just wants to be farming things up. Is doing so quite nicely.
Probably wanted to have earlier control over the neutrals, you know, maybe be able to pick up a Rift Herald or an early Dragon for his team. Hasn't really had the luxury of that, so a little bit of Kindred's usefulness falling away.
Well, nice Cosmic Binding there as the Dragon, I believe, is being attacked by a Voidless. Down to about half health as the Cloud Drake is taking some damage.
And
Amazing J's going to go in.
Still top side of the map, so there's not really all that much they can do here, so they give over a second one.
Yeah, and actually Tempered Fate landing on Marin here. Able to get the stun with the Cosmic Binding. Marin already down to about half health. He's pretty tanky though at this stage as Amy will need to use the ultimate. Amazing J being quite frustrating. Ults his way out. Amy in trouble. There it is. Lamb's Respite comes down. Punish needs to get on top of it. Has managed to get there. Road is going to fall. There's bombs sitting on top of a Voidless. Amazing J didn't even need the ult. A little bit of mistargeting
They
there.
just won a 3v4, Atlas. I mean, Road falls down and the 3 members of LGD come up trumps. Fantastic play out of Myron and Amy especially, and then punished on the back end of that play. And, you know, they give over a Dragon, sure, but it is the air one, so, you know, not the biggest deal until the Elders start coming out, and LGD finally have their first gold lead.
Yeah, they've done it.
They were 100 gold up when I said it. Now they're equal. Now they're behind again.
Damn it. But, look, you managed to say it. As you can see, this is going to be the vision from IMA. They have a lot of bottom side focus. This is exactly what Road has been doing. Whereas on the other side of the rift, you trying to keep Imp safe towards the top side.
A little bit more focus on vision denial also there. Had 5 pink wards to the 2, I believe.
Not going to see any Infernal Drakes this game, so Mountain is going to be the 3rd dragon that we're going to see. IMA looking to go for the collection. Arguably the more important one, and this probably helps LGD. Can give up the first 2, maybe not necessarily valuing the Ocean Drake towards the late game. Wanting to have that extra ability to take down these neutral objectives. And Baron being looked at. Still haven't really been able to open up the map too much, though, on either side.
Looks like right now LGD are trying to bait them into a fight. They get the ult onto a
Punish could be in a whole host of trouble. Stun comes down as well. Road looking for more is punished. Oh my goodness, Amazing J is going to be able to lock that one down. Can they finish this fight off though? Yes, they can, as Amy's going to fall. Parallel Convergence locks up the Thresh. He's going to die. Imp trying to kite this one out, but Amazing J is so frustrating. The ultimate is going to be used out of Amazing J, and he is going to survive. And they've taken down the outer turret in the mid lane. Magical Journey to be taken towards the Baron Pit. Mad pings onto it.
So 2 members go down without using their ultimates on the LGD lineup. And in the end, it was Bamey's ultimate that saves Amazing J, so he still has his own available. Marin walks into the middle of this pit.
Imp's there as well. Parallel Convergence doesn't find the stun. Once again, the Chrono Break comes back in, and they will be able to take down this Baron. Marin now has to deal with 5 people. He's tanky, but Marin, you ain't that tanky. As they now just take the magical journey to safety.
Got a member again.
Oh yeah, Road just seems to be dying.
So he traded 1 for 1. In the end, LGD once again, though, make a catastrophic error in the mid-game, hanging around that Baron pit. They get picked off. And Amy and Punish both went down without using the ultimate. It just meant there was no damage out of this Victor. Didn't even get like a drive-by.
And I understand Punished as well, because he was sort of back-to-back stunned with bombs from Bamey as well as that Cosmic Binding from Rogue. But Amy just not quite measuring the amount of damage that he took. I liked his patience in that last team fight that LGD won, but can't be too afraid to use that Lamb's Respite.
And all of a sudden, they're down about 5,000 gold, and turrets are going to keep falling around them. So unless they get one of those miracle team fights, it looks like it is going to be a game where this composition can just continue to siege down. All lanes pushing in IMA's favor right now.
Yep. Phase dive from Amazing J helping out a little bit, taking down this turret. As you can see, it's all about Jin Jiao. It's all about the Sivir. Does have the 2 items. Pickaxe there as well. And they're not stopping. Inhibitor turret now under fire as Punished gets dived on by Amazing J. This guy's well and truly up in that front line. Nice Cosmic Binding's going to land as Amy takes a lot of damage. Marin right in the front line, but he can't necessarily tank as well as he'd like. The bombs are coming in. Amy almost dies to those ones. They have to respect Bamey's damage.
But that's actually an overreach by Amazing J one more time. That should have been a free turret. You know, just being able to open up the base. But one more time, he just dives in on the back line. Wants to make something happen. They're going to have to stick around for the next one. It gives another opportunity, potentially, for LGD to look for a team fight.
Punished trying to clear out the minion wave here. It's a really nice spell shield. Turret is going to fall down. Punished in trouble. Bombs there. Lamb's Respite has made its way in, though. That's going to keep the mid laner alive as Imp has been caught by the Tempered Fate. Amazing J finishes him off. It's actually Bamey that grabs the kill. Punished still very, very low. Nice hook on a Bamey. But I'm not sure whether it's going to be enough as Amazing J's just running rampant. Amy trying to get away from the bombs. Does so successfully, but this Echo just can't seem to die. And Marin, although he's so tanky, he just hasn't been able to peel Amy underneath the turret. Triple kill for Amazing J. Teleports coming in. The inhibitor's going to fall down. And IMA continue the momentum from game 1.
Yeah, they certainly do. They're going to be able to pick this one up. It really is only the Kindred that's trying to keep them at bay. And 3 members on sub 100 health, but it doesn't matter because IMA, they're looking to win the game.
Yep, 25 minutes in. Imp trying to go for the desperation save play, but the Nexus is at half health. We're already looking at the grins on IMA's faces, and that is going to be the swift 2-0 victory for the team that auto-promoted from the LSPL. We didn't know their power level. Right now, I'm feeling like we have a bit better of an idea.
Yeah,
little bit, but we didn't know LGD either.
They've beaten 5 and 4 in the group. I mean, OMG finished 5th, LGD finished 4th in a very weak group. So we know that they can beat, you know, the middle of the pack teams in the LPL. I think that's very fair to say now that IMA certainly doesn't look to be a bottom tier team in the LPL. They have started to beat some of the middle of the pack teams, but I think the way that they won that, capitalization on one mistake a second time around, around the Baron pit. They did it against OMG Game 2, and now they've done it against LGD Game 2 as well, where it's just their mid laner and their support that gets the pick and able to take over the game.
Yeah, and it seems like coordination from sort of specific members of this team that are really able to get things done. It sort of means that they get to ignore Amazing J. He can do some sort of weird stuff, like you were mentioning, over-diving. He committed suicide to Marin underneath the turret as well, thinking that he could ultimate his way out. It was just a slight mechanical error, you could say, but was definitely a play that he didn't need to make. But it doesn't really matter because he's sort of not required as far as their decision-making process because they skirmish so heavily. I feel like they only need to have these like certain masterminds. That's sort of that's my theory anyway.
That's an all right theory, all right? You know, it's an interesting one. I'm just saying that if you solo die versus V in a game, or, you know, if you do it against Mouse at the moment, you're probably going to lose the game because you just shouldn't dive a turret like that. I mean, as I said, they beat OMG, fantastic. OMG is a team that has gone through, you know, they've been playing Icon and Cool. They played Cool against them. They had a brand new jungler on their lineup in World 6 that we hadn't seen play in a split, and they were able to take him out. Now they've taken out LGD. Once again, this is a team with 2 roster swaps, bringing in 2 specific downgrades. I don't think anyone is going to say that Wayless is a worse mid laner than Punished, and you is definitely not PYL. So, you know, this is a team that is going through fluxes, and IMA has beaten them both, so credit to IMA. However, in saying that, they are making silly mistakes still around the map, and not every team is going to give you a 22-minute Baron when they have a Maokai, a Twitch, and a Victor on the other team with a Kindred ultimate to stand inside it. It's just not going to happen if you play a good team in the LPL. So, yeah, they're beating the opponents in front of them. That's all you technically have to do right now. But I'm still not putting the horse in front of the cart with this team because it's still not smooth sailing, in my opinion.
Yeah, so it's sort of in the game talents basket for now, and we'll see exactly what's going to happen after we've increased that sample size.
Yeah, I actually like the comparison a lot because game talents decision making has also been very good.
Yeah.
And they beat a Snake lineup, you know, and then Snake got exploited by EDG, and we're like, okay, maybe we need to adjust where Snake currently sits on our power ranking. But then they go into the next matchup and they're able to win comprehensively 2-0 there. So I think that game talents is a very similar story to IMA right now. They're going to be good LPL teams. The question is, can they step up to great? Because right now, I'm not putting them anywhere near RNG, EDG, or even Team WE, because all 3 of those teams look head and shoulders better than the 2 that are undefeated right now.
Yeah, and I feel like you can almost sort of sneak Newbie in there, potentially in the conversation.
Newbie can be snuck in there if Dade figures out how to lane.
Yeah.
I don't give, like... Dade is a great team fighter. That's fantastic. But your excuse shouldn't be, I can't lane because I'm a good team fighter. It should be like, I can do everything to an 8, and then my team fighting is a 10. And he got destroyed in every single laning phase so far. So Dade still needs to work on that part of his game to get back to where he was at as a King of Spring.
Yeah, so if we're going to have a look at IMA here specifically, that means within their group, it's the WE and the RNG matches that we're really looking for them to really step up. It will be very, very difficult. I mean, RNG is a team that look utterly terrifying at the moment, and WE managed to take a game off them.
Yep.
So both of these teams, I think, honestly, as far as this group is concerned, it's a terrifying group in Group B, and really, these 2 are really to be feared.
I completely agree. And, you know, IMA might be the 3rd best team in this group. And
and
that would be fantastic to them. And I said, like, there are people like in our team that have them between the 6 and 3 mark. So I think that while and truly this team could be the 3rd best team in the group, but until they play RNG, until they play Team WE, we're not going to know if they are. And it's going to be exciting when they do because they match up on paper incredibly well. Individually, skill-wise, I may have a pretty stacked roster. It's just that they're very inexperienced and very new, and we want to see if they can piece it together.
Yeah, it's exactly. I mean, I like what you're saying is the fact that it's sort of just exciting, right?
Yeah.
And these are like new players, lots of young players. We are going to have a look at one of them here. It's Jin Zhao. He's going to pick himself up the MVP, 100% kill contribution on the Sivir. And look, he did really, really well. Ran into the mid lane, threw that like donkey whistle down, like you mentioned so beautifully, and picked up first blood, and it just all sort of went from there. Yeah,
completely agree. And the exciting thing for me, like, I'm no way, and I'm a hater at the moment. I think if you say that they have peaked already, if you're saying they're peaked already, I think you're actually underselling this young lineup because they have so much room to grow and things to clean up. I mean, even the communication of, you know, Amazing J, stop diving turrets while we're trying to make a cross-map play. Yep. How did we lose a 4v3 like running through our dragon? Like, why are we even chasing that? We got the objective, you know, we should just reset the map, go back to playing standard. So there are things that this team can still learn, and that's a scary thing because individually they are incredibly talented. And I think that the second game when we saw a Voidless on the team is the lineup that we will start seeing more and more of because you saw that Fire Lolly had some great ganks, don't get me wrong, and he was the MVP of that game, but Avoidless has great control over the map. I think that as far as a slow-paced control style of League of Legends, Avoidless is a better jungler in that regard.
And it was arguably a more difficult jungle matchup for him as well, up against the Kindred, able to stay up there in the farm and was getting a lot of pressure in there, not afraid to go into the Kindred's jungle, things like this. The man was playing quite well.
Yeah, certainly was. You know, still had the same dragon control, so it's great that even though they're changing out junglers, they continue to prioritize the neutrals in a good way. He still had the great pressure onto the bottom side of the map that opened it up and allowed them to take down the first turret incredibly early on. That put LGD on the back foot. The longer the turrets on the outer ring were up and standing, the longer they could make the map big, the happier LGD were on this because they wanted to continue to scale. So IMA played specific parts of this map incredibly well, and I think that Rhodes Bard will just not see competitive play anymore because he is able to solo out people and pick them off in a terrifying way, similar to how Afro was, and we saw the potence of that at MSI. Just the ability to lock down one key member and lay a CC afterwards. Bard is so terrifying when in the right hand. So I think there are certain things that teams will learn about IMA, and they'll become easier to play against in the future, but they still have such huge room to grow.
Yeah, the thing I like about this team as well is it's not necessarily like they've got room to grow in the decisions that they make on a holistic level around the map, because they have the right idea a lot of the time, and it's almost like calm Amazing J down a little bit, you know, make sure that you do have like more clean team fights, clean calls in every single one of them. A lot of their team fights look fantastic. That one after the Dragon looked awful.
They're a great scrappy team fighter. When they fight at a disadvantage, they're really cool to watch. In fact, like if you go watch the OMG series, the fight around the Baron in game number 2, where Bamey just lit up 2 members, you know, absolutely split the team. It was a 1v4 when he started off because they just gained cool in the bottom lane. They're really good scrappy team fighters, and that's what we like to see in the LPL. On the flip side of this matchup, LGD have just reaffirmed every fear that anyone had. Myron's going to get camped every single game. Amy has no idea what to do in that situation. And Imp, whilst being a great AD carry, it is no longer a meta where AD carries will 1v5. And they really need to shore up what is a leaky ship around Myron and Imp, because even Punish look exploited in that game.
Yeah, and it's sort of like, what do you look for to sort of try and find the answer for this team at the same time? Because it's just looking more and more dangerous. I mean, PYL, of course, not quite there for some time. We believe that he possibly could be coming back as well, ladies and gentlemen. So, look, we may not need to be crying for too long, but you did a decent job. Of course, you mentioned that 2-minute play first up. I mean, LGD straight out the gate, yes.
And he was making the PYL plays. I mean, the flash in and the play, looking for the hook. He nabs the Bard. Unfortunately, just before he gets stunned up, Rhodes able to get the double stun and completely diffuses the play. So you, in a different, like, they would have got first blood, like, probably 50-50 at the blue buff area. It just didn't go their way because of some great reaction time. They would have got first blood in the bottom lane, maybe like a 30, like that's a 30% play that you would take nearly every single time.
There was a fantastic spell shield that stopped it immediately as well. Yeah.
So I think that Yu has the right idea. It's more Amy and Punished, I think, that were kind of lackluster in this series against IMA.
So unlimited potential, just not quite much more after that, because both of those players, of course, coming from that team. Hart there as well. I mean, the coaching, do you think that there's anything to do with draft here that we're questioning?
No, I think both drafts were great. Both drafts were actually phenomenal. So whoever's doing their drafting, you're one person that can hold your head high, because your draft was pretty good both games. And I think that anyone that gets Maokai, Kindred, Victor, you're like, that's a winning top half of the map. You get a Thresh Twitch, you're like, that's a pretty good bottom half of the map. Like,
put them all together, we've got a pretty good team
fight. Then what happens? 2 people die in front of Baron Pit at 22 minutes, and you're like, But, so whatever, like, the drafting was fired out of whoever is doing that for LGD right now.
Yeah, we'll see whether they are going to be able to grab some victories as they move forward. Because, look, by any accounts, this could be, like, the third team. They might be able to grab some momentum for themselves as well. We saw LGD, once they got some wind in their sails, they didn't stop winning games towards the end of last split.
LGD are famous for starting slowly. Yeah. I mean, they lost, I think, certainly 7 sets in a row when they, and then just snuck into the 4th place spot, and we thought they could go the distance still, because with Wayless and PYL in the team, they were playing great League of Legends. So you can never gauge the relative strength of LGD. Right now, they look very sloppy and uncoordinated, and we'll see if that does improve as the split goes on. My gut feeling is this time they've dug themselves into a hole, but you never really know. As long as you have Imp on a team, I give you a winning chance every time you step on the Rift.
Yep. All right, so let's just have a brief discussion about the games that are coming up, because, of course, we're going to be stepping off. It's going to be Froskerin and Fish that are going to take you through the next 2 best-of-3 series, but the next game that's coming up is going to be RNG versus Vici, and the jungle matchup is very exciting here. Dandy versus MLXG. How do you think it's going to go?
It certainly is kind of cool, because I think that MLXG kind of made a huge splash at MSI. And one thing that I do want to point out is MLXG Xiaohu overperformed at MSI.
Yeah.
I think that they're young players that have incredible ceilings, and I said that people will underestimate the Chinese players on this lineup. But I think that the way they played, I don't think anyone would have told you they would play that well, because MLXG looked like the best jungler in the world. But going up against Dandy, someone that is so consistent, has such clean pathing in the early game and such control over the overall game, it's going to be interesting to see whether MLXG can play his aggressive style, because Dandy's a god.
Yeah. It's going to be very, very exciting to see. We are going to go to a short break. When we get back, the next 2 best-of-3 series with Froskerin and